Okay, hi. This will be this has to be quick. Like a like the idiot I am, I did not write down the topics for today, but I remembered one of the topics and I have one topic. One topic I'm not sure about whether or not I should mention, but we'll start with the easy one, which is why do I have this channel? And like basically, so you probably know that I have a total of 3 channels. I actually have 4 channels total. One is called Medusa, which I don't use anymore, but I have it like just in case I need it. But what are my 3 channels? The first one is the channel that I made years ago, and it was made so that I could I'm looking at the channels right now. It was made so I could just watch videos on YouTube. Um I made it at the time with a fake age. So I could, I mean, there was no need to like make it fake age. Like, it's not like I was watching adult videos or anything, but it just makes it easier so I don't have to like, bypass it later or something. So I made it a long time ago. I actually had a fake name as well. I used Serena Lawrence as my name. Now, I recommend everyone who uses the internet to use fake names because um it's not a safe place and using a real name can cause problems. Some of you might know this, but my name on this channel is actually part of my real name. But of course, it's not the full real name. But, anyways, so I renamed that channel then to be now currently it is Swap Alt, a Swap Brand Personal. So, this one is where I watch videos or comment or interact with stuff. Actually, the history of this, like if you go to the comment history, it'll be bad because I have some bad comments when I was younger. I'm not deleting any of those, but if someone really wants to dig up, they can probably go through some old like videos or something and see some comments that are not good, like questionable. But other than that, this is the channel, right? Then there are 2 other channels. One is Swabhar Personal, which the at is Swabhar. It's confusing, whatever. This one is where I upload my audios. And then there is Swabhar Games, in which I am planning to upload game related stuff. Anyways, the thing is that the personal one, right? The diary one, the personal diary. The idea is that I share it to people so that they can go through it, they can listen to it. If people are interested in me as a person, right, and they can hear my thoughts if we don't get the time to talk, because sometimes I just talk to people and whatever I'm telling you I just say to them. I'm a pretty open person in that sense, depending on the person. But this is another way. But the thing is, I've not really found a good way. Like, how do I say this? Like, how do I say, oh, do you want to know more about me? Here's a channel where you can just go through the audios and listen to me talk. It's such a weird thing. I would love that. Like, if there's one of my friends does this, and I've been hearing her uh, podcast or whatever, and it's been super fun. But that's my point. It's such a weird thing to just say. You know, yo, just here's a YouTube channel where you can, because it also sounds like I'm asking them to subscribe or something. Like, yo, can you like and subscribe? I don't say this, but like I think it might sound like that. um Anyways, so that's one thing. Right, I'm just getting distracted by my YouTube feed. So the people who find me through the internet, right, that's much more easier because they're finding me through this anyways, so they get to know me like that. But then there are like real life people. How do I show this to them, right? I don't have to, of course, but I would like to sometimes, right? That's the end of the first topic. Now the second topic is more questionable. um how do I even approach this? So, plainly put, the topic is, I like to play as female characters in video games. and I wanted to explore why. Um, the first obvious answer is I like women. Um, there's not much to that. Um, but the other option is, so if I'm playing a game, right, and there's an option to have a character, a gender character, right? So I can choose the gender of the character. Why would I pick a male character? Because surely, um, I would like to. Okay, I know that this is like bordering into like misogynistic, undertones as well. I don't mean it like that at all, I swear. Also, the male gaze, right? That is also one thing, which I won't lie, it might be a part of it. But my point is that um I see any form of entertainment that you consume, right? Video games, movies, whatever, it's for your own enjoyment, right? It's for your own enjoyment. So you don't enjoy things based on, right and wrong. Like it's hard to say, right? Because there is definitely like a lot of gray area and a lot of things I'm just shoving under the rug. But my point is like for example, I really love to hear music. So there are some songs, right, that I really love that are sung by male singers. I'll go and find the female versions of those songs. So I'll find like either the female versions released by the band or something, or sometimes like covers made by women. And again, it's like if I find something that I enjoy to consume, right, in entertainment, then there shouldn't be any problem with that, right? Now I understand that part of it is, you know, I am enjoying it based on the gender, right? And I think that's not totally fair because the gender of a person shouldn't define something, right? It's just the way they are born. Because that is what discrimination is in a different flavor, right? People are treated differently just because they're born a certain way. This reminds me of a story where um a woman is writing, like she has a very masculine name. I'm forgetting what the name is. Let's say for now it's like Charlie White or something like that, right? So she's like, I love it when I was having this conversation with this rich guy, my client, right? And for 6 months we had this like back and forth, right? And after 6 months we met, and I loved to see the disappointment in his face to realize that he had been respecting a woman for the past 6 months. And I was like, damn, this would work the exact opposite for me. Because I wouldn't be disrespecting a person for being a man, but definitely I would be like, oh my god, I should have been more respectful if I realized that it was a woman I was talking to. This is actually how I approach like talking in online forums or whatever. Like I start by thinking like this must be a woman so that I can be more respectful. That like helps me. Um, I know I'm not perfect, but my point was that there is a lot of like gray area here, right? Playing as a woman. But firstly, I prefer the voice, like a more feminine voice or a masculine voice if I'm listening to music, right? So that's one thing. But the other thing is that I do genuinely like women, both as, an entire gender and like physically. So having like playing as women, I don't know. It makes more sense to me. Like it makes more sense in the way like um it is more fun, I guess, in a way. Again, why do we play video games? It is to have fun, right? So why then I'm making a big deal out of it as well, which is another issue. But again, I think I'm the sort of person who makes a big deal out of everything. But there's something to touch on it, which is usually in some games where you can play as different characters, right? Uh, Different characters have different stereotypes. So, for example, I'll give you an example. In a fighting game, where just as a reminder, two people play different characters and they fight with each other, and whoever loses all their health first loses. In usually these type of games, right, you'll have a roster of characters. Usually it's like around 50% women, 50% men, right? But there is a certain stereotype which is women are usually fast and weak, whereas men will have a strong and burly sort of characters. And this is not the stereotype that every character follows, but in general, women, like female characters, tend to have a certain stereotype that they fit. Let me give you an example of Tekken. So in Tekken, there are characters that I love to play. So I'll list them out, right? And I'll list out the ones that are female or like women. So the one that my main character is Asuka. She is a easy character. She's an easy character, and she is a relatively simple character, right? She does play with mind games. Like her thing is to bait out moves. I'm not going to explain what it is, but basically it's about guessing what your opponent is going to do, right? Which I love. I love mind games. I love tricking people in video games. So that is what she's based on. So that I like. But again, she's an easy character, right? Oh my god, she's an easy character, which I don't necessarily hate, but I would like to play some more difficult character. Um, I'm trying to remember. I'm forgetting her name, but there was one more character. I can quickly look her up actually. Tekken 7 roster. Um, so there's Kunimitsu as well. She's also like a tricky sort of character. Alisa as well. So there's Alisa. I'm just looking at it. I'm just going through the list, right? There's Alisa. I used to play Anna as well. Asuka. Uh, Elisa as well, who I didn't play, so I won't count her. Um, why is it loading everything one by one? Okay, Julia, I tried to learn, didn't learn much. Kazume, right? So Kazume is what who I was thinking. Kunimitsu I already mentioned. Um, I didn't play Lydia or Lily much. Master Raven I tried a little bit. Nina, difficult character. Shayu and Zafina. So out of these, I tried maybe four characters, right? That would be Alisa, Anna, Asuka, Kazumi. I think that's it. Out of these, three characters are easy, Anna is medium difficulty. And now I'll list out the characters I like playing from a technical point of view. Akuma, extremely difficult character. Kazuya, Jin, Devil Jin, all of these are extremely difficult characters. Bran, I wanted to learn. I just didn't have the motivation to learn because again, he's easy character. Sorry, he's a male character. Um, who else? Heihachi as well. Heihachi, Jin, Kazuya, Devil Jin. These are like similar sort of characters, so they fall in the same category. Farang. Um, okay, that's it. I think. So these are characters. Oh, I forgot about Kunimitsu. Kunimitsu is another medium character which I really love playing. So these are characters that I played a little bit and I liked playing them, but I didn't play them much, right? But what I want to get at, and Yoshimitsu, okay, Yoshimitsu is a really tricky character as well. But what I want to get at is all the characters that I mentioned, right? Like you saw, out of the roster, all the characters that I mentioned later are very high difficulty characters. Whereas the female character that I mentioned, out of all the female characters in the entire game, there are maybe three that are high difficulty. I'll look up Tekken 8 quickly as well. Tekken 8 roster. But I think it's very similar where um just the difficult characters are tend to be male ones and easier ones tend to be female ones, which I hate that, right? Because I want more again. So I'm just looking at it. I'm not reading the names this time, but I know that again, uh Anna is difficult, right? Anna is a really technical character. I'm not sure how technical Lydia is. I haven't even heard of. Okay, so there's a new character called mm, Mairi Zo. I have not heard or seen this character before. That's interesting. But okay, coming back to my point, right? the more difficult characters tend to be very much towards the male side of things, and I'm not sure. Like, I can make speculations of why that is, but again, I don't like it, right? Um, yeah, I'm not sure why I was mentioning this. I think it's just mentioning that I do play like other characters as well. Like, if you want to take a look at Valorant for a second, Valorant is something that I do play without thinking of much about like which which characters I'm playing, but I will go through them once. I think Valorant is, you know what, let's go through Overwatch as well, because Overwatch is where I have been playing Overwatch recently, and this is where uh, I was, I started like thinking about this. I think in Overwatch, Valorant, this is much more balanced. Okay, so I'll go through all the agents actually very quickly. So Astra is a somewhat technical character, but not too much. Like the skill ceiling is high, floor is low. Breach is simple. Brimstone is very simple. Chamber is pretty high technical character. Clove is medium, I guess. Cypher is technical. Deadlock is very technical, but is she's not good right now. Fade is a good character. Um Gecko is fine. Harbor, ISO. Okay, so ISO, Jet. Both of these are highly technical. One is a woman. Killjoy, KO, simple. Neon, very technical. Omen. Phoenix Rays is also very technical. Reyna is very feast of famine. Sage is simple. The sky is simple. Sova, Teho, Vito. All three are pretty technical. I guess Teho is sort of simple. Actually, Teho is pretty simple. Viper is very technical. Vice is very technical. Vele is pretty technical, and Yuri is pretty technical. So it's like a sort of, fairly even spread of difficulty. Now we'll see Overwatch, and in Overwatch they are divided into three roles: tank, damage, and support. So we'll go through that as well. So Domina, I think she's medium difficulty. Diva is somewhat technical, I think. What does this icon mean? I'm just looking at like there's an icon there. So I'm just trying to see what it means. I want to do a smash and pass at some point as well, but I'm just afraid of doing it because it's like sort of I don't know. I'm a little bit shy of a person, I guess, sort of. I guess this means stadium as well. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so Domina is medium, I think. I'm not that familiar with Overwatch. So if you know about Overwatch, you might know more about this than me. But Diva is pretty technical. Doomfist is extremely technical. Hazard is medium, I think. Junker Queen is not technically difficult, but like mechanically difficult. Mauga is pretty simple. Orisa is pretty simple. Ramatra is medium. Reinhardt is simple, I think. Roadhog is mechanically demanding, I think. Sigma is technical. Winston is, I think he's not, at least I found him pretty easy, not difficult. Wrecking Ball is very technical, and Zarya is pretty simple but solid. So I think this is also a fair spread, but this seems more like male sided. Now we'll go to damage pretty quickly. Andran is medium. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's pretty easy, I think. Vendetta seems to be pretty technical. Ash is Ash is pretty simple actually. Bastion is pretty simple. Cassidy is mechanically demanding but pretty simple. Echo is pretty simple. Freya is mechanically demanding. Genji is pretty cool, honestly. Um, and he's mechanically demanding, but I would say simple. Hanzo pretty simple. Junkrat pretty simple. May is pretty technical, I think. At least she has a lot of creativity. Like you can be creative with her. Para is pretty simple. Reaper is simple. Sojan, she's simple. Soldier 76 is simple. Sombra is pretty technical. Symmetra is fairly simple. Torbjorn, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He is also pretty simple. Tracer is very technical actually. Venture is, I'm not sure about her. Widowmaker is pretty technical. So this is much more female dominated, women dominated. Then there is support. So Jetpack Cat, pretty simple, but actually can be very technical. Like if you want like high skill ceiling. Mizuki is such a cool cat. I wish he was a female character because I love playing him. But he is a pretty simple character, I would say, despite what me loving because he's just like a little bit tricky. Anna is pretty technical. Baptiste, he's simple. Baptiste, he's pretty simple. Brigitte is simple as well. Oh no, is he? I think she's a little bit technical. Ilari seems simple. Juno seems a little bit mechanically demanding, but not much. Kiriko is very mechanically demanding, but simple. Life Fever is pretty fun as well. Definitely wish he was a female character as well. He is pretty simple. No, he requires some creativity, I would say. Lucio is Lucio is somewhat technical. Mercy is simple, but she can be technical, but not much. Like there is not that much of a ceiling. Moira is pretty simple. Wuyang, I'm not sure. And Zenyatta is pretty simple but mechanical. Okay, so this is also a pretty even spread. So I think overall, Overwatch does a pretty good job of balancing them. I don't see like a particular stereotype or anything, which again in Tekken, I think in fighting games in general, I think is very, very much there. Like these fighting games have much more of a stereotype than these sort of games. But yeah, I think that's it for today. Hope you're doing well. It's Holi in my country. It's a festival of color. I'll try not to celebrate it because I might get sick. But hope you're doing well. If you're from India, even if you're not, happy Holi. And yeah, see you guys soon. Bye bye.